Just hanging around, huh?
I am Captain Police. Streak speeds by.
It's only magic. Isn't it amazing when you know? Every second that you see is 24 connected pieces. Thank you for coming, thank you for staying, thank you for watching the show.
OK KO, Let's Be Heroes, was created by Ian Jones-Quartey. Before KO, Ian was known for his webcomics, his co-created web series Doc Force, working on Venture Bros, and being a storyboard revisionist and supervisor on Adventure Time.
Hey, Ian. Hey, dude. I'm doing a documentary behind the scenes. Right.
Ian Jones-Quartey is married to the creator of Steven Universe, Rebecca Sugar. The two of them have known each other for many years, well over a decade. Rebecca even helped out on Knockforce back in 2007. The two of them have been working with each other for a long time. Even when Ian was on Adventure Time, so was Rebecca, storyboarding some of the best Adventure Time episodes and some of the best Adventure Time songs.
Oh, I'm on a boat with a couple of wackos, shaking my hips and dipping my fat toe in the water.
When Rebecca was showrunning Steven Universe, Ian joined her as supervising director. Now, if you're unfamiliar with OKKO, you're probably wondering why I'm even bringing this up. And the reason is because we just heard Rebecca Sugar.
It's only magic. Isn't it amazing when you know?
At the end of every Steven Universe episode, you would usually be greeted to Rebecca's voice singing Love Like You. And for OKKO, Rebecca was asked to write and sing the closing credits song of the show. Looking at OKKO as a series and joining that with Rebecca's type of songwriting just seems like a match made in heaven. OKKO is a very sweet, passionate, just overall joy-filled show. It has some very soft, sweet moments. And to pair that with Rebecca Sugar, it's just a perfect combination. I cannot think of anyone else they could have brought in to do the end credits song. The environments we're greeted to as the credits flash past is shot on a Canon EOS Rebel T2i. I cannot believe I got that in the first take. That's a mouthful. And shows footage of an at the time under construction bank parking lot in Mission Hills, Los Angeles. It should be noted, however, that some episodes' credits were shot around Cartoon Network studios. Folded and placed down in front of the camera are printed drawings done by Ian. The only piece not drawn by Ian was Lord Venomous, which was drawn by Toby Jones, who on the show was a writer, executive producer, and supervising director. Him and Ian shot the footage of the drawings that we see in the final show. The characters are usually seen simply resting or looking around, with a subtle breeze pushing against them. These shots to me give a sense of calm, of rest, reminding me of winding down with my friends, lazing about and regaining our energy from the day we've been through, of doodling in my sketchbooks on a sunny late afternoon waiting to be picked up from school. It has a strong nostalgic feeling to it. The song is split into two for most episodes. The first half's lyrics,
It's only magic. Isn't it amazing when you know?
can be broken down to mean multiple things, but the reading I take shows how the magic being referred to is animation.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Before someone is introduced to the behind the scenes of animation, to how it's made and produced, it seems impossible. The idea of people drawing moving pictures that speak and feel real, that feel like real people with real stakes, I just said real 3 times, it's out of this world, it's insane. But at the same time, you'd think diving into the behind the scenes and finding out how it's made would simplify it. Like The Wizard of Oz, unveiling the curtain and seeing how it's all a sham and it's actually really easy. But instead it does the opposite. When diving into animation and everything that goes into it, writing, storyboard arting, voice acting, timing, keyframes in between animatic sound effects, coloring, designing,
I think they're good looking pants and you want to look hot in those pants. And I think you look pretty good in those pants.
and more jobs and essential gears of the animation machine, it feels more insane and impossible than before. You see even an 11-minute episode of animated TV as a miracle. But it's a miracle made by people, by living, breathing people, hundreds of them. When you unveil the curtain and show the mechanisms, reveal the truth is it's magic. When you first find this out, when you first explore it, your mind explodes. It's shock, it's wonder, it's amazing. But when you work in this pipeline of production after a while, it feels normal. I get that. Sometimes I'll watch someone with fresh eyes look at animation and be like, oh my god, how did someone do this? And I know how they did it. And I look at it, I'm like, oh, they just did this and that. It seems easy. Oh, well, it's just this and this. Every now and then you have to step back and really look at it. Reflect on just how much goes into it all. Every now and then you step from the curtain and you look at the machine that you're now a cog in. And remember, oh yeah, it's magic. But now, you're a part of that magic. The second half's opening lyrics is a lot more straightforward.
Every second that you see is 24 connected pieces. Thank you for coming.
The industry standard in animation is 24 frames per second, meaning for every second of animation is 24 frames. Sometimes animators will animate on ones, which means animating every individual frame. Other times, and usually, they'll animate on twos, which is every second frame, and others will animate on threes. But be it animated on 1, 2s, or 3s, each frame is a work of art that took hours to plan, draw, ink, and color.
Wow, how'd you do that?
So many individual, incredible pieces of art that come together to make something spectacular. The final line.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching the show.
Like I mentioned, animation takes so much time and effort. Your whole life and heart is poured into a project. It's a miracle when it's finally out and finished. Creators become grateful for anyone who is even curious at their work, at their blood, sweat, and tears captured on celluloid. But even then, to sit through all of it, to sit till the credits, to see all the names come down, all the people that made it possible, every name, every person is important. They all have a role to play, and they all deserve to be shown and celebrated. Thank you for staying to watch the story, but also thank you for staying and see all the human beings who made this work of art possible. Individually, these halves have their own meanings, but combine them and they have a bigger meaning. The second line is no longer an ending question, it's a beginning of a sentence that is then continued in the next verse. Isn't it amazing when you know every second that you see is 24 connected pieces? Isn't it extraordinary when you discover that every second of animation is 24 pieces, 24 artworks? Doesn't your jaw drop to the floor when you realize how much effort goes into it? How many days, months, years? An average 11-minute long episode of animated television takes roughly 1 full year to complete. 1 year's worth of effort in the hands of so many artists. This closing theme is so special for OK Chaos specifically. Some might think you could put this theme at the end of any animated show, and it would be significant, but for Chaos specifically, this theme just works perfectly. If you're unfamiliar, OK Chaos did not get off the ground easily. Ian was asked by Cartoon Network to pitch them a series while he was working on Adventure Time. At the same time, they asked Rebecca to pitch. As we know today, Rebecca's show was picked up, but at the time, Ian's Lakewood Plaza Turbo wasn't. Cartoon Network said they wanted Ian to work on it more, and he did. He made another pilot sometime later, this time with Toby Jones. But the studio rejected it again, saying that the short was funny, but was missing heart. So again, they went at it, brainstorming, evaluating, and after some time, after years of back and forth, it was finally picked up. First, we saw it as a short for CN's YouTube channel, then a mobile game, until finally, after years of pitches and back and forth, in 2017 when the show premiered on Cartoon Network. And the show itself is a celebration of animation, Cartoon Network, and creativity as a whole. Ian purposely wanted the designs in the show to look raw, with rough outlines on every character's designs that look like someone had drawn them on paper. The characters are simple and easy to replicate for someone who doesn't draw often, or children just learning. The show is filled with references and homages to animation and video games, with the villain Lord Boxman being a very obvious parody of Dr. Eggman, having chicken features almost like he was the bird that hatched from Eggman's egg, and cybernetic features possibly influenced by Sonic's SatAM version of the character. He even shares the same voice actor.
Curse those heroes!
You said that the Shriekbot could outrun the Hedgehog.
Even his henchmen draw from old Sonic cartoons. But even past just Boxman and the little references and influences throughout the show, the series actively crosses over with animation properties. Some well-known, others more obscure. Captain Planet, Ghoul School, even eventually in the final season, crossing over with Sonic. There's this piece of production art and even an animatic done by Ian and Toby to pitch to different companies for the potential of crossovers with them.
Ah, that explains why you didn't see my friends either.
Looking at all of this, it's no wonder that the show eventually did a massive Cartoon Network crossover and celebration with Crossover Nexus, a special that sees KO end up in CN City, teaming up with Cartoon Network icons like Ben 10, Raven from Teen Titans, and even Garnet from Steven Universe. The entire episode is a work of love and appreciation for the history of the studio, even referencing The Moxie Show, which was Cartoon Network's actual first original series before Space Ghost or Dexter's Lab. The show is a love letter to animation, to Cartoon Network. So to end every episode with a song to celebrate and touch into that, to express the amazement and wonder that is animation, it's just perfect. The final episode of the show, titled Thank You for Watching the Show, doesn't end on the theme. Instead, we're greeted to the offices of CN Studio. And the noise of Cartoon Network employees hard at work, making magic.